Well, warm welcome. It's a Monday the 30th of January. Now, I wasn't sure whether to make this video or not, but I'm going to make it. We'll see if I'll post it or not later on. It turns out there's been a covert military operation observing UK citizens during the pandemic. I say covert because we didn't know about it. Let's just listen to the General speaking at the time in 2020.
Brief us on the latest military involvement in the effort.
First Secretary, thank you very much. The First Secretary has asked me today to give you an update on what the Armed Forces and Defence as a whole is doing in support of the government's response to the virus. Up front, I would say that our role has been entirely in support of the heroic healthcare workers on the front line. That's both the NHS and social care, with humility very much being our watchword in the way that we give that support. We've done it in a variety of ways.
So there we are. The military effort is entirely in support of the healthcare providers. Now, this military unit concerned is here. It's called 77th Brigade, and this is an official part of the British Army website. You can check it out for yourself. Influence and outreach, and there's a lot of information about them. Here, as I say, completely free, open, public domain, and it gives a geographical location for where they are based. I believe there's a lot of sort of part-time territorial soldiers in this as well. So it's an agent of change through targeted information activity. Outreach, we contribute to the success of military operations. Now, the key word there, military, is military. I'm not sure this was a military operation, to be quite honest. Now, the Mail on Sunday and the Big Brother Watch talked to a whistleblower about this, and it was only after this that the government came clean on it. Now, why was the government holding this as a secret? You know, why would they want to do that? It's you and me, if we're British taxpayers, that pay for them. Don't know what the situation is in the States, but this is what happened in the UK, it really is quite shocking, really. Chief of the Defence Staff, Sir General Nick Carter, that we heard there. So not just any old general. This is the big boss, Chief of the Defence Staff. Up front, I would like to say that our role has been entirely, is what he said in 2020, entirely in support of the heroic healthcare workers in the front line. Well, it turns out that entirely is a word that might be open to modification, with humility being very much the watchword on how we give that support. And of course, we're always in favour of humility. UK Defence Journal last year, apparently Sir Nick, General Carter, did reveal himself that the 77th Brigade was involved. So it looks like the military came clean before the government, to their credit. A year late, but still to their credit. Now, this is from I'm going to just a couple of news sources. This one's from the Telegraph. Army's Information Warfare Unit is how they describe it. They monitor COVID lockdown critics, and the 77th Brigade, who specialise in countering disinformation. So basically, it looks like one narrative was allowed, and the military was used to monitor. And we believe, well, we can't really say more than that, to monitor. I had posts deleted during this time. I had videos deleted during this time, and I'm sure you did as well. And still, we're not free to say what we want to say, not by any means. We really should have freedom of speech in the United Kingdom and the United States, but at the moment we don't. And that is a situation I couldn't have believed in my youth. Any other online activity deemed harmful to the UK is monitored by this unit here, 77th Brigade, such as the Counter Disinformation Unit. So there's other government's units involved in this. It's not just the 77th Brigade, but there was a unit called the Counter Disinformation Unit. That's what they were called. Now disbanded, thankfully. It was part of the Department for Digital Culture, Media and Sports. It was part of them. Also involved in this was the Cabinet Office Rapid Response Unit, was also involved, as well as the 77th Brigade. Social media posts were scrutinised for accuracy and, as we know, labelled and taken down. Mail on Sunday, the whistleblower reported, this is the whistleblower from the 77th Brigade, it's quite obvious that our activities resulted in the monitoring of the UK population, monitoring of the social media posts of ordinary people, scared people. So that's people like you and me were being monitored by this military unit. The whistleblower goes on. These posts did not contain information that was untrue or coordinated. It was simply fear. I developed the impression the government were more interested in protecting the success of their policies than uncovering any potential foreign influence. What this brigade should have been doing, in my view, was monitoring for foreign influence. Now, there was foreign influence. I was subjected to it at the time in 2020. I didn't succumb to it, but it was there. There's no question in my mind. I'm not going to name the governments involved, but I was foreign influences did try and influence me and many of us and social media. So why weren't the 77th Brigade picking up on foreign interference rather than looking at the domestic output would be a question. Now, a government spokesman, UK government spokesman, online disinformation is a serious threat to the UK, which is why during the pandemic we brought together expertise from across the government to monitor disinformation, as we looked at some of those things such as the Counter Disinformation Unit. I mean, I don't know, I'm sort of sniggering here. It's just too Orwellian. It's just so horrible. The UK Counter Disinformation Unit. I mean, talk about Ministry of Truth. Good dear me. The Counter Disinformation Unit is what it was called, part of the Department for Digital Culture, Media and Sports. Okay, let's go on and see let the government have the say here. They did not, this is talking about 77th Brigade, did not target individuals or take action that could impact anyone's ability to discuss and debate issues freely. Well, Mr. or Mrs. Miss Government Spokesman, please tell me, if you're deleting our videos and posts, how on earth can we discuss and debate issues freely if we can't debate and discuss issues freely? Because if we can't discuss and debate issues freely, I don't quite know why you're saying that it didn't interfere with anyone's ability to discuss and debate issues freely. It did, and it still does, to be quite honest. Unsatisfactory. Not a good look for UK democracy at all. Mail Online. This is the Mail on Sunday article, actually, the original one. Free download. You can look at it, read it for yourself. Targeted politicians and high-profile journalists. They compile dossiers. This is the army compiling dossiers on public figures. It really is quite incredible. This article is telling us that the 77th Brigade compiled dossiers on public figures. Let's hope it's not true. Such as ex-minister David Davis. Now, Mr. Davis has been a guest on this channel a couple of times and has been very impressive with his insights on various matters. The first one we did was on vitamin D. Not that he got very far with the British Parliament with that, but his attempts were indeed noble. Now, Mr. Davis is scientifically trained. What was a science minister? I mean, it was Brexit minister and a science minister, and a dossier is being compiled on him, apparently, allegedly. It really is quite incredible. Because he questioned the modelling behind the alarming death toll predictions. Other journalists were targeted. Their dissenting views were then reported back. Quite what the central government did with that, we don't really know. Mr. Hitchings, for example, military operatives compiled a dossier on the journalists including Mail's Peter Hitchings, brother of the late Christopher, of course. Mr. David Davis, member of the Privy Council, ex-science minister, ex-minister for Brexit, very senior politician. It's outrageous that people questioning the government's policies were subject to covert surveillance, Mr. Davis says, apart from the complete waste of public money. So there you go. As a UK citizen, I can't believe I've just made that video. And I did check it all out. I've talked to quite a few people because I just couldn't believe the reports. But it is true. This unit was employed. You know, I remember at the time people saying 77th Brigade, and I was vaguely aware it existed, but I certainly didn't believe it was being used to monitor the UK population. I put that in the conspiracy theory bucket. And I now recognise my naivety. Quite incredible. There we go. Check out the sources. I think I might post this. I'm not sure yet. I've tried to do it in my usual analytical way as much as I can, given the information that we have. Anyway, if I do post this, thank you for watching.